All right, guys. Everyone in the chat, I want you to show some mad love. Whatever emote you have that's just got lots of hearts and hypes, give it up for Emily. Erose86. Let me get that. Oh, there we go. There she is. What's up? Oh, shucks. I forgot my sound effects. There we go.
I'm not wearing any makeup and my camera is like super red. It's fine.
Hey, we're all about raw things in here, like raw challenge. You know, like we got week 3 going on. Raw makeup. You know, I don't wear any makeup when I come on stream. And, you know, that's just the vibe here.
Cool. I'm down for it. I dig it.
What's up, guys? Well, welcome our guest, Emily Erose86. And so before we jump into the meat of the edits and why we're doing this, why don't you just introduce yourself and, like, you know, give a little background to your Twitch and photography.
This is so funny because do you know what Clubhouse is?
I just heard about it.
Yeah. So I've been on that for the past week, and I feel like I've been introducing myself every single day for the past 8 days.
I can't imagine. I'm sure that social thing
so
is
I feel like I've got this down to a science now. But hi, guys. I'm Emily McGonigal. I'm a full-time portrait photographer and retoucher out of Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, what else did you want me to tell you? My favorite taco, because that's what we do in my room.
Well, talk about Twitch. How long you've been on, and how long you've been streaming photography, and did you take a break? Yeah. All that good stuff came back.
I have been streaming for is it? Oh, sorry. I gotta turn my filter on. I forgot where I am. Okay. Oh shoot. I think almost 3 years, coming up in March.
Wow.
And I am very inconsistent. I generally stream on Fridays if I decide to stream, but days I just pick random days. So yeah, I just I'm not a full-time streamer, you know, so I stream when I can, but I try to be helpful when I do it, answer questions, show you guys my process, that kind of a thing. And yeah, you know, I'm a full-time photographer, so I don't really have like a lot of time to dedicate to Twitch consistently, but I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy hanging out with everyone, so I try to stream when I can.
Okay, and when did you start doing photography?
Yeah, you're gonna have to ask me like questions one at a time because I'm not caffeinated enough. Almost 11 years ago. I started in 2010. Yeah, so almost 11 years ago. Wow. I started with my camera, and then I've been in business for almost 8 years.
That was 2013.
Yes.
When did your business start rolling? Like, you could have did you establish your business, but then like picking up clients and like really kind of creating?
Well, I kind of got lucky the way that I did it, because I did a test shoot with a girl who was still in high school, and in high school that was in my target clientele area. And so I posted within a week of posting out on Facebook. I got my first 2 clients, and one of those clients has been my biggest cheerleader. I can probably trace back almost 70% of my clientele back to that one client 8 years ago, because she sent me so many people, and then they sent me people, and then she sent me more people, and they sent me people, and then those people they sent me more people. So like I could probably build like a family tree, and most of them would lead back to that client. Wow. So it was a bit of luck, but a bit of luck and good customer service.
Nice. And speaking of customer service, did you work any jobs besides photography when you started your business, or were you like full time?
Oh, I used to work at Apple.
Oh, I see. That's a sick beanie.
For 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah. A little over 3 years. I think I was at Apple.
Lucky you. Was it fun? Did you like working there?
Yeah, it was fun. I bitched about. Sorry. Oh my God, Aaron, I'm so sorry. I complained about it
just
a
be
lot.
yourself. We don't have a Nightbot for voice. All right. So
what was that?
We don't have a night bot for voice, so
I know. Well, I have to turn. I'm so sorry. I've been on Clubhouse all week, and there's no filter on there either. So we just all swear all the time. I'm so sorry, guys.
On Clubhouse,
this is not a reflection on Aaron. I'm really trying here. But I complained about it a lot towards the end because I was being a whiny creative who just didn't want to be there anymore. But like, objectively, it was a great job. I really enjoyed it. The team was really great. The company really backs their employees and like supports what we have to say and what we want to do. And so it was a great company. And if I still had a day job, I would still be at Apple. I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Wow. That's cool. How was the pay? It's pretty good.
It's good for retail for sure. Yeah. A couple of my coworkers who had just started around the time that I left was getting paid around the same as me. So I was a little bit irritated at that because I had to get a bunch of raises to get to that point. But, it's fine. But it was good. I mean, it was good for a retail job for sure. Yes, that's cool. Bear that you see running around back there. Hi, baby.
Kitty, he's the one who sent you to the hospital?
No, he's the good one.
Oh, he's the good one. Nice. Wow, interesting. So I worked at Sears around like 2011, and like I had no sales experience whatsoever. I bullcrafted my way through my interviews. I had no idea about any kind of tech stuff, but I needed a job and they hired me. And like that's kind of how I got into photography. But I guess we started around the same time. I got my camera in like 2012, I believe. So like a little bit after you and stuff. That's crazy. It's crazy how time flies. And like, I'm really, really just what did I say? Blown away by it. What the heck? I'm really blown away by like how quickly time flies. And so really cool. And for me, I didn't have the kind of same path as you did when I started my photography business. I just started selling prints to people who were like interested. And so I was like, maybe I should start a self-proprietorship because I'm selling and blah, blah, blah. I had no idea what I was doing with business. And when it comes to business and photography, you have been, you don't know this, but you've been somewhat of like a role model to me. Even in conversations in Discord, a lot of you guys don't know. What up, Ivan? How's it going, dude? In Discord and with the Twitch photography team, I remember talking to people and saying, this is my intentions with streaming, and you really brought clarity to photography streams, because I think a lot of people need to understand that like you're not going to make it full-time streaming Twitch. Like realistically, it's so like hard and like impossible to get into that like 0.001% of people who make it. And what you did to me was like you're like, no, dude, I'm focusing on my business. I need to focus on that, because like Twitch will always be there. I'll always have time for it. And especially when I got let go of my job in September, Emily, and I had to focus on business or on my business now to make it. Like when it comes down to it, it's that, and that will always like stick with me. And even now, I'm still making it, 100% on photography, but like it's those words that ring in the back of my mind, like of what you said and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. Well,
I'm glad that I was able to have some impact on you, because like sometimes I feel like I'm talking and everyone's like, okay, whatever, Emily, just shut up, it's fine. But that makes me really happy that I was able to inspire you. I mean, you're doing a great job, Aaron. I remember that conversation where everyone's like, I don't know if you should do that. And I was like, dude, if you want to do it, just like work your butt off.
You did say that.
I swear, I'm going to get it right. I just got to get like a couple of words out and then I'll be good. But I remember, telling you like, no, don't listen to them. You have a unique opportunity here. You got laid off. You have no other choice but to succeed at this point. Like, you have to do it. So
yeah, I remember that. And totally. And Alamo too. I'll throw Alamo in there too, because she's been like, I just remember you and her having conversations about pricings and contracts and things like that. And so, I appreciate that and stuff. And
yeah, man. I mean, that's my overall goal is to help people. Like we've been talking about this a lot in Clubhouse about, you know, photographers building up other photographers versus the ones that are afraid to help people because they're afraid of competition or whatever. But it's just such a great thing for me to be able to like help. Can you still hear me? I just put on my headphones. Oh, yeah. It's such a great thing for me to be able to help like my friends or aspiring people to get to where they want to go, and by sharing my experience and by giving them advice, because we can only get better if we work together, you know.
Oh yeah, totally. And if you guys haven't ever caught Emily's streams or don't follow it, please do. We're gonna be dropping her link like periodically a lot during this whole chat, and so definitely follow. And you have been consistent, I've noticed, on Fridays. You know, that's like your day. I know Emily's always going to be on Fridays, so guys, definitely jump in there when she's streaming. And so real quick, what do you do when you do stream? Because I've seen your streams where you do like, do you still do the jousts? Is that still
no, well, I've been, it's the you're thinking the joust was like a one-off, but you're thinking of the artist circle.
Oh yeah.
And I have not done that in a while, only because I participate in the artist circle and I haven't had time to do extraneous shoots.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to assign things that I can't participate in. So I just retouch a lot of any of the work that I have that week that I'm able to share on stream. I retouch that and we just hang out and have a good time. And every now and then somebody comes in and asks questions about what I'm doing. But yeah, it's just a retouching hangout basically. I feel like I used to be a lot more educational and I used to like verbalize every single step, but the crowd that comes in every time is like the same people. And so I don't know. I feel like I'm just being redundant if I do that. So I just work when new people come in. I always like make sure to tell them like, if you have questions, like definitely ask. So a lot of times people will come in because I'm working and they're like, oh, I don't want to interrupt you. And I'm like, no, this is why I'm streaming. Like, please interrupt me. If I didn't want to be interrupted, I wouldn't be streaming. So, you know, the goal is to help people and also hang out with people. But, you know, I love to share how I do things and talk shop with people and help anybody who's new understand the process better.
Awesome. Hula, you're still looking for a full-time job. Keep it up. Don't quit. I know you're like, yeah, I won't quit, you know, but yeah, hang in there. I hope the photography business is going well. Real quick, Emily, I pulled up your websites and I thought it was really interesting that you have 2 websites. And just the other day we were talking about like Instagram and like having separate accounts for different things and stuff. And you have 2 websites going on. Run us through that real quick.
Yeah, so the first one is my photography website. That is for the clients that I'm booking that want me to point a camera at them. And then the other one is my retouching website. That's all the work that I've specifically done retouching on. I think I have any of my own stuff on. That's all other photographers' work that I've retouched. That is really out of date. I need to update it. Like I've done the most recent thing that I've retouched that is of note was Carrie Underwood's Christmas album. Ooh. And that's not up there yet because I'm lazy, but I need to definitely update that. I've done some stuff with Old Crow Medicine Show, Carrie Underwood, a couple of other famous people that were published in magazines that I've retouched, because all of my friends are commercial photographers. Yeah. So when they need a retoucher, it gets outsourced to me. Yeah. And then I get to retouch a bunch of like people's faces because they shoot famous people and then they get retouching. So Wow. And how's the 2 website dynamic work for you? Fine. I kind of just ignore the retouching one, if I'm completely honest. Like it's really out of date. I don't blog on there or anything. I have plans to maybe start a retouching blog on there, but that's like really low on my list because my retouching usually comes from word of mouth. And so I'm more focused on making sure that the SEO on my photography website is up to date, because that is my main focus in terms of making money. Even though I do really love retouching, would love to get more retouching clients. There's only one of me and I'm very controlling, and so it's hard for me to want to outsource stuff like that to other people. So I'm kind of just focused on the portrait website, and someday I'll get around to updating my portfolio on the retouching site and blogging. But it's the same thing. I have 2 different Instagrams for it too, and I just this week decided I'm going to combine them. So I'm not going to delete my retouching Instagram, but I am going to like probably put a note up there and be like, hey, if you're following this, you should just follow my photography one, because that's where I'm going to start posting all my retouching stuff. I can't run 2 Instagrams. It's too much.
Too much. I can't imagine 2 websites too.
Yeah.
Wow. So real quick on your photography, this senior model program, what is this?
An experiment.
Okay.
I've done similar things in the past to it, but basically it's a way to get early bookings for senior portraits and get an early sorry, my brain just farted. An early updated current portfolio.
Yeah.
And so the people that sign up for the senior model program get certain perks, like an additional like mini shoot with 5 images from that shoot, and like $100 discount on their purchase and things like that. I haven't done it for the past 2 years, and because of that, I honestly, being completely transparent, I don't think it'll be successful this year, because I don't do anymore the free senior portraits, or I don't do free senior portrait sessions. Like some people that do senior model programs will just do everything for free and then hope that those people bring in referrals. But in the past, when I've done my senior model program, the number of referrals they bring me are like 0 or 1, you know what I mean? So it hasn't been really worth it. And so I thought I would try it this year, mostly because I was bored. And so I changed the program around a lot, but it's still not one of those, like, it's not good for price shoppers. You know what I mean? And I think most of my target client don't even start looking for a senior portrait photographer until like March or April. And so by that point, the program is done with applications. So I had 1 application come in, and then I responded to them, and then I never heard from them again. So they either didn't understand the program when they applied, or they changed their mind, or they found a different one that offers free sessions. But I found that in the past, when I've run my senior model program, having it didn't make a difference in my business, and not having it didn't hurt my business. So my clients will genuinely recommend me regardless of whether or not they're senior portrait models, because they just love the experience with me and they love their images. So if this year I end up getting no models, or I do get models, but there's no real improvement in the number of clients I get from it, then I will never do it again. And like I said, the last 2 years I haven't done it, and those have been my most successful years without it. You know what I mean? So if having it again doesn't improve on it, or if the program itself flops, then I'm not going to bother wasting time on it again. So it literally is a pure experiment this year. I'm not going to be heartbroken if it doesn't work, and I'm not going to, it is what it is. I'm just trying something for funsies.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I've never seen that before, senior model program, and I was like, I see it on your Instagram. It was like advertised a lot and stuff. I was like, wow, you must be. This is cool. Scott
is asking, I do senior portraits, commercial, and I do engagements too. I want to make a correction. I do not do commercial work. I retouch commercial work, but I do not shoot commercial work. I hate doing commercial work. I love working with everyday people doing portraits. So I do portraits. I do senior portraits. I do not do engagements. If somebody asks me to do an engagement shoot, I would say yes, but most times people looking for engagement shoots want to shoot with the person they're going to hire for their wedding, and I don't shoot weddings. So I mostly just do portraiture.
So the commercial work is just the retouching.
Yeah, that's my retouching website. So all of that is stuff that other people have shot, and I retouched it. I didn't shoot that. So that entire page is my best friend Matthew Simmons is a commercial photographer, and I'm his go-to retoucher. So whenever he has to outsource retouching, I'm the one that gets it.
Wow. So let's talk more about retouching now. So how long have you been doing it, and really where'd you get your start with it, and how'd you learn?
I have been practicing retouching since the day I picked up my camera. I think that I officially started offering my services as a retoucher maybe 3-ish years ago.
Yeah.
And I learned from the internet. My hero, if you will, is Pratik Naik. And I have bought several of his courses on. I'm actually friends with him now, so every now and then, like yesterday, I messaged him and I was like, "Yo, how would you handle this particular part of the skin?" And then he'll like answer me back in 2 lines. I'm like, "Cool, that's what I did. I just didn't know if I was cheating. Carry on." So you know, he's great. If you guys don't know who he is, absolutely look him up. He's Solstice Retouch on the interwebs. His website Solstice Retouch. He's got classes on Creative Live. He's got classes on Pro EDU. He's got a great class on the Portrait Masters website. He's got an incredible YouTube channel that he's been uploading like knowledge bombs to for free. He's on Clubhouse. He's got a Facebook group called Retouching or Photoshop with Pratik.
What's his name? Sorry, can you type it out in the chat? I want to look him up.
His all his stuff?
I guess his name. Then
Solstice Retouch is his like retouching social media stuff and his website. His name is Pratik Naik.
Okay, sick. Thank you.
Yeah, and some of you, if
wasn't he on Hue stream?
Okay? Yeah. Okay. Good. I was like, I don't want to like.
I was like,
somebody else's channel, but he was on Hue's channel on an interview one time, so you may have seen him there. But yeah, most of my learning for retouching, especially, I did buy a bunch of books too. Like I bought some Scott Kelby books that I read. Like I just like got my hands on everything that I could possibly get my hands on. So Scott Kelby books, Creative Live, a lot of Pratik learning material, stuff like that.
Wow. So I mean, in this day and age, you really have no excuse for lack of instruction in education. Like if you really want to go after it and get it, like you can really teach yourself, you know, and it's just sitting your butt down and learning and just watching this stuff and consuming it, and a lot of fire under you for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Scott, I use Capture One to process my RAWs and then I bring them into Photoshop for retouching.
I forgot you're a Capture One user. How could I forget that? Awesome. Well, you coming on stream and doing the edit my photos, I was really like honored, and I was just like, oh snap. And then, you know, the pressure set in. I'm like, dang dude, Emily's a freaking amazing retoucher and I am not. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm gonna edit. And you know, something that you brought up, yeah, like I was gonna edit my way, but you know, whenever people, you know, submit their stuff, you know, I've generally seen like Scott when he came on, I know what his edits are like, and I didn't try and imitate, but tried to consider, you know, like, and so like for you, I was like, okay, maybe not all of them, but maybe on one or so, maybe I'll try and do something with the skin and see what you think. But doing it all in Lightroom, it'll be, I'm really anxious to hear what you say. And already,
wait, so though, do I get to see the actual files themselves, or am I supposed to just be looking at your stream for this?
Would you like to see the files? Because I can send them to you.
I would love, because when I have a hard time like critiquing stuff through a stream, you know what I mean? I'd rather look at the files itself because I can see better. Okay, if that makes sense.
Let me whip up a Dropbox folder right quick. Hold on a sec.
Putting you on the spot.
Okay. One of these days, I need to sit in front of the computer for a couple hours and just go through my Dropbox and clean up. You know, I have like so many different random folders and crap in there.
I'm the same way. I have so many in there though that every time I sit down to do it, I get overwhelmed and I'm like, next time. And then meanwhile, like 25 more folders a week get added to it.
Yeah. Okay. Uploading right now. Gotta get the link. I'm curious about the Adobe Color question that we talked about the other day. I referring to me, Scott? Because I did. I don't know if you saw my message on Discord, but I did message you, and I'm definitely want to take you up on that, Scott. But do you ever use Adobe Color, Emily?
What do you mean, the plugin?
I believe it is like a plugin Photoshop. I don't know. Scott brought me to a website on like color.adobe or something like that, and then you can like look up different color palettes and you can upload a file, and then it will take like the color.
Oh yeah, there's a plugin in Photoshop that you can use. That is exactly that. I do use that all the time to create gradient maps and things like that. Yeah, but Scott, you can get that in Photoshop. It's a very similar. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't use a website. I use a plugin that you can. It's a Photoshop plugin. It's not like a third party. It's something that Adobe made that you can use for Photoshop.
I just dropped you the link.
Cool. Okay. Yay!
Okay, so you can look at them. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the raws on the stream, and then once we get to the edits, then you can give me your thoughts. But while we're doing this, you can take a closer look at them and already get warmed up there. Cool. Okay, so guys, as you are familiar with this segment of our stream, we've got a channel reward down the bottom left. Yo, what's up, Brock? Where if you click on the bolts and you scroll down to around the 3,500 range, you will see a button called Edit My Photos, and this is where you can send me like 1 to 5 photos to edit, and I will do my best with them. And the whole idea of this is just to kind of compare and contrast, like, you know, our edit styles and stuff like that, and get you on stream. So I'll edit them on stream, and then I'll have you come on the next day. And this is what Emily had redeemed. When was it? Around was it like December 24th? Was it that stream or something? I don't know when it was, but
yeah, I don't remember.
It was a while ago. we had to get you in, and then I ended up taking an unplanned 2-week vacation. So stoked to finally have Emily in here, and so she sent me four files, and here they are. And I will say, Emily, my first impressions were just like, wow, I really love the raws. Like every single one of them were so easy to work with and like delightful because they were shot so well. And like what in the world just happened? Okay, let me just resize you here. Okay, there we go. Get you there, and boom. All right, we back. Guys, what in the world's going on? Okay. Do you hear that beeping in the background? Okay. Okay, you guys good? We good? All right. This is why we can't have nice things. You hear it? Okay. I think it was like my voice recognition. Anyways, all right, guys. So these are the raws that Emily sent me. I told her that she can send me whatever she wanted, whether it was like underexposed, overexposed, challenging ones. She's like, no, I'm going to send you good ones. So it was really fun working with these.
To be fair, I did send you a challenging one, but it wasn't like an underexposed, like, oh, I almost swore and I caught myself. It's not like, oh, I messed this up. Here, you do it. I sent you files that were viable, but I definitely sent you challenging files.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the images here. And we're going to start off with the one that was outside with the hat. So we'll start off with your edit first, Emily, and you can kind of talk about like what you did, what you're going for, and all that stuff. And then I'll bring up mine and then have them side by side.
Perfect. I'm playing with yours in Photoshop right now to see how I'm going to. But I also want to. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead and bring it up. So, it's up already. Okay, that's fine. I'm drinking coffee. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So this one was very interesting. This one was made up of 50 million layers in Photoshop to get it to where I want it to be. I processed it in Capture One to get it to like a good base point, making sure I had details in the blacks, making sure I had details in the highlights. And then I pulled it into Photoshop, did my retouching. And then on top of it was a lot of color grading, getting the greens where I wanted them, because I hate the color green in foliage. It usually just throws everything off for me. So shifting the colors where I wanted them, shifting the density where I wanted it, a lot of masking, and a lot of like very specific coloring in areas. Doing luminosity masks where you select just the shadows, just the midtones, or just the highlights, and adjusting all of that. So that's a lot of work that went into this image. This is the one that I sent you that I was like, this is a hard image to work on. Yeah.
So real quick, because you do Capture One and Photoshop. So how many layers in Capture One did you have, and then how many layers in Photoshop?
Oh, I don't layer anything in Capture One. I just do base file prep is what I like to call it. So I just get the exposure where I need it. I get like my colors in the levels tool set to a good spot, like going towards the direction that I know I want to head. And I get like my contrast and stuff in a good spot to make sure that I have details in the shadows and the highlights. And then I do everything in Photoshop after that. Okay.
And you said you work your colors, so no use of presets or anything like that.
So I use no presets. However, I do use the infinite color and infinite tools panels that Pratik makes, and they are my favorite thing on the planet because they are not presets. I like to always say that presets make your work look like someone else's, but infinite color tools make your work look like yours. I'm very, very meticulous about how I do it. Here, I'm trying to look for this file. Can I screen share with you? Is that a thing, or am I going to take over your show if I do that? I don't want to like overstep my bounds.
No, you don't take over my show. I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Okay, but I'll do my best to accommodate.
Well, it's just gonna let me see here. It's just gonna, I think it'll just replace my face is what will happen. Let me turn this on. I'm going to show you. So
do it.
There it is. Share this screen. Is this how I do this? There you go.
Boom. There she is.
Hold on. Yeah. Use the newer catalog. It's okay. I'm going to open up my file for you here and then show you what I did. If my computer will do the things I want it to do.
This is great, by the way. This is the first time we've done something like this. So future guests.
I told you I'm all about teaching, so like I get into it. So that's yours. Hold on, mine's opening up here, and it takes a minute to open because it's so big. So infinite color, like you see these little infinity signs here on the side of my Photoshop. Those are all the tools I'm talking about. So it's not a preset, but it does shuffle. If you want to, you can click this create button and it'll shuffle curves, color balance, select color, gradient map, color lookup, whatever. I don't let it shuffle randomly. Will click curves one at a time, and I'll hit that button until it gets me close to where I want to go, and then I make adjustments. And once my adjustments on the curves are good, then I go and I hit the color balance button and I click it until it gets close to where I want to go, and then I make adjustments. And then I do the same thing with selective color, and then gradient map. And then I don't always use color lookup. I actually don't use it very often. So if I am using color lookup, then I'll do the same thing. But see, on this particular color lookup layer in the infinite panel, I actually went in and did a blend if mode because I didn't like what it was doing in a certain part of the image, but I liked what it was doing in another part of the image. So I'm very, very, very hands-on with the infinite color. Even though some people can literally just click create and be done. So I go one step at a time, and then I dig in and I adjust it until I'm happy, because I know in my head where I want the image to end up. So I'm rarely ever clicking infinite color going, I don't know, I'm just gonna see what looks good. Like I'm aiming for something, you know what I mean? But yeah, so these are all of my layers on this image. This is just the color grading. The retouching layers are even more than that. Actually, this one's not color grading. That's just a help layer. So
you sold Brock, by the way. Brock's.
I'm sorry?
You sold Brock in the chat. He's like, I'm definitely buying it now.
Dude, I have a link in my panels in Twitch. If you buy it through there, it helps you get a roll out. So you don't get a discount, but I get credit for it. So if you want to help me, I'll buy it through the link. But yeah, sorry, that was a shameless plug. Oh, wait, I missed a folder. Okay, so here's all of my color grading on this. You know what I mean? That's just the color grading, and then the retouch is even more. So, yeah, these are I don't even know how many layers it makes up this image, but this is the whole image. So yeah, I just, like I said, I went and adjusted my density, and then I did a lot of color grading. Infinite Unify just helps make the skin tone all the same throughout her whole body, because as humans, we have different skin tones in different parts of our body. Infinite Color for the color grading, and then I did Channel Mixer to help with saturation, Infinite Radiance to help with luminosity, more saturation layers, and there you have it. So...
My goodness, I love it. This is why we do this. It's like, it's so awesome to see, and like stuff that I've never really even touched or even got into personally, like with really any image. And it's just being my time here on Twitch has really like helped open up like my mind to this, because you could get so stuck in your routine and how you edit and stuff like that. And I as well am definitely going to look into infinite color and stuff like that. And again, I'm like very noobish when it comes to editing files in Photoshop. Like I can create thumbnails for my YouTube stuff. I can do graphics for my stream. I can remove people from the background. But like, as far as like, yeah, let's just edit through 20 images in Photoshop, I would move at a turtle's pace. What's up, Gaminus?
Well, you're also shooting weddings, though. Like, weddings is a different thing. If I were shooting weddings, I would not be bringing those images into Photoshop either. That's a whole different realm, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let me. I'm gonna go back to the other screen here.
Yeah, do it.
Scott's like, let's see yours. All right. Here we go. Here is the edit that I did in Lightroom. As you said, the details and the shadows and stuff like that, I tried to bring that out. And I kind of agreed with you on the greens there, even though mine's kind of went more on the warmer side than like a different hue within the green. Mine kind of went more towards like the yellow. But I imagine this scene around like an hour before sunset. Like the sun's still high, but starting to go down and stuff. And so I kind of made that a little bit more brighter. And a lot of like the inspiration I guess I had came from like how I imagined magazine would look like. Here's the raw Scott. Sorry, I don't have it like right next to each other, but here's the raw Scott. And you've got the image on your side, Emily. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was really funny because this is the first one that you were editing when I was still in your stream, and I saw you immediately tackle those screens, and I literally went, "Yes, Aaron, yes," because you had the same instinct I did in terms of like, okay, let's knock out those gross screens, like that's not happening. So I think your color toning is really nice. I think the only thing that I think could have been done is you brought up your black point, and I think that you're kind of missing some contrast in that. Like if I open this up in Photoshop and I look at levels, there's nothing in the black, and I can bring that slider all the way up to about 20 before it actually is like, okay, there's something on the histogram.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your instinct to bring out some details, but I think you may have pushed it a little too far, and caused there to be just kind of a lack of contrast. But your color instincts were really good. So I definitely applaud you for that for sure. And this is a really, really, really hard image to work on in just Lightroom. Like, as you saw, I used like 50,000 layers to get it to where I wanted it to be. So considering you just did this in Lightroom, I think that you did a nice job. I just would like to see a little bit more information on the black end and in the lower shadows.
Now that we tried out that share screen thing, would you want to do that? Do you have?
Oh yeah, I'm playing with it over here. Okay. So let me share my screen again and I'll show you.
Let me bring it back. I love this. This is good stuff.
Let me see. Where is the screen that I need to share with you? Okay, there we go. So right here, if we look, I'll just leave this share screen up since we're going to keep coming back to this. So if we look, I have added a levels layer. There's nothing on it yet, but you can see right here that there's this big gap on the histogram where there's just no information. So if I pull that up just a little bit, you have what's supposed to be absolute black in the image is black, but you've got a little more contrast. And then in the mid-tone slider, I can even bring that down a little to give me some more information in the shadows, just a little bit. And I can even pinch in the highlights a little just to give you a tiny bit more contrast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you go from here to here, you still have detail everywhere, and you still have that like sun flare feel, but there's just the image feels a little more solid. And then when you do that, it does increase saturation a little bit, so you can either make the layer luminosity only, which means it's only affecting the brightness and the darkness of the channels and not the color. Or what you can do is, if you leave it on normal, is you can go then and, grab a hue saturation layer and drop your saturation a little bit. And you can target a specific color. So like here, I feel like the reds are what's too saturated. So I can go into hue saturation, select my red channel, and then just go and pull that down just a little bit. So again, I think you were really close. I think you just needed a little bit more contrast in there.
Love it. Thank you. That's so cool to be able to even see and just you run through it like that. And Scott had one more comment about the sky being gone. What are your thoughts about that? Because
I do not care. Back. I super don't care about that. Like, that's the thing is, like, I know some people are like super hung up on like, I can't see the sky, but it's a backlit sun. Like, it's a backlit sundown image. Like, the whole feel is, that the sun is. You got that sun flare and things like that. I know it's still there in my image, but that's because in Capture One, like, I pulled the highlights super down, and like I still have a sun flare image in mine, but it's not as airy as yours. So if yours is going to be that airy, it doesn't bother me as much. I didn't like do a sky replacement or anything like that. And sometimes I do have images where the sky's completely gone if I backlit like that. And to me, it's just, what am I going for? Am I going for that lighter airy, or am I going for like a more, I call this like a more magazine editorial, the way that I did it. But the only reason there's sky in mine is because I processed it a lot darker and a lot less airy than you. You know what I mean? Which that was an artistic choice. Like, I don't hate your choice. I just think you need a little bit more contrast is all. So and because it is that lighter, airy backlit flare, I don't mind that the sky is gone.
I love it. And I did try and go for that, and other streamers' influences, of course, F the sky. I'm being more and more comfortable with that because, like, I used to. I mean, I don't used to, but like my passion, I love like landscapes and stuff, and adjustment brushing the skies back in from the highlights and stuff like that. And if I was in Capture One editing these, I probably would have experimented with trying to like mask in the highlight, the sky back in and stuff. But
right. Well,
I did try to go for that. And
to be clear, I didn't mask anything in Capture One. All I did was bring down the white point slider and probably pulled it down the whole way, and then brought my highlight slider and probably pulled it down a good bit. And that's what brought back the detail in the sky. But I didn't mask anything. I don't ever mask anything in Capture One. I just get everything to like a close spot and then I export.
Yeah, I believe this is what you shot. Yeah, Emily, all these images.
Yes, these are all mine. I photographed all these.
Okay, awesome. So I've got all 3 images now up, Scott. I ended up just exporting the the original JPEG of the raw. So now we've got all three so we can compare. So we've got the OG image here, Emily's right here in the middle, and then the edit that I did here on the left. That's how I use Lightroom 2. You get a base exposure and then go off all your layers in Photoshop. Awesome. All right, let's head to the next image.
Sweet.
Chew. All right, here is the OG image. Tell us a little story, background behind this one.
So this is done in my friend's, these are all models, by the way. None of these are my high school senior clients, in case y'all were wondering. These are all signed models. This girl's name is Gracie, and I've been wanting to shoot with her forever, so I was really excited I got to work with her. But this is in my best friend's studio, which is literally next door to mine on the same floor in the same building. And this is before he finished his renovations. I loved the way his room looked. So I went and pulled the outfit that she's wearing from a boutique that I have a good relationship with here in town. They let me borrow whatever I want, whenever I want. It's
awesome.
Fabulous. So I pulled together her outfit because I knew I wanted to shoot it in this room, and I knew it was like a lot of beiges. So I wanted, the color scheme to work really well together. His wall here on camera right is got a ton of windows, and you can actually kind of see the window light. I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see, but you can kind of see the window light coming in on the side a little bit. And so there's window light, and then I actually have on the camera right side an Ellen Chrome Rotolux Octabank. It's I don't know, what is it? Like almost a 5 foot, 4.5, 5 foot span, something like that. Lighting her to fill in. I guess that would be technically the key light. So that was the key light, and then the window light was like filling in all of the shadows and things like that. So I was kind of just wrapping the light around this direction. And then I was like, do model stuff, Gracie, and she did model stuff. So
so with models like that, you just tell them, all right, do your thing, and then you don't hardly have to give them direction.
I do direct them, but at the same time, models know how to move too. So like, I probably told her to like mosey around herself, or, I think at this particular shot I was like, play with your skirt, walk around, play with your skirt, flip it back and forth. Like I give them like loose direction. I don't pose them like Barbie dolls, because I find that that's less authentic. You know what I mean? It's more rigid.
Awesome. Okay, let me bring up yours. So the raw here is on the right, and this one is yours. So what did you do?
So same thing as the other one. I process my raws in Capture One to get to a good base point, and then I export to Photoshop to do all of my retouching and then my color grading. I really liked having I'm like a sucker for red and cyan together in an image, so I kind of definitely pushed this direction. I think my highlights are a little more cyany and my shadows are a little more red, but I just really wanted to color grade to kind of tie everything together, the color of the room and her outfit and things like that. Again, using all infinite tools to do my selections and color and things like that. I'm really bad at talking about how I did my images, but yeah.
I see how you removed too the wall outlet. I definitely did.
Oh yeah, I hated that wall outlet. I definitely took that out.
Nice. I was excited about this one, and I don't know. I just really like the background. It is just so cool, so effortless on this one. Okay, let me bring up my edit, and then we'll get your thoughts on it. So again, the raw here on the right, and then my edit here. This was one of the images where I was just like, man, if I did too much to it, it would definitely ruin it. And so I kind of just brought up a lot of the light. I didn't remove really anything, and I actually did mask the background and the floor, and I darkened them, and I added a little I darkened them, and I actually even declarified them. Just because I kind of wanted her to pop out a little. I didn't mask her, and maybe I did mask in the face just to brighten up the shadows and stuff, but I didn't want to really touch anything on the color and just kind of leave it, because I felt like it was just like such an effortless thing. And like Brock said, just stunning out of the camera stuff. So yeah, let's I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So I, again, like the other one, your color work is definitely on point here. This is going to be a recurring theme across all your images. You're losing your shadows again. So again, if I bring up the histogram, you don't have anything on the far end, and so if I pull up your if I pull up the curve a little bit, I get a little bit more detail there, and then I can pull up the midpoints to like brighten it up. So here, I'll do that again since we don't have, it's not as big there. So if I pull the shadows up here, and then I pull this mid-tone up here, you still have that brighter look that you're looking for, but you have a little bit more contrast there. And I'm gonna actually pull your highlights in a little bit here too. So your color is really nice, but before the levels and after the levels, adding the levels is a little cleaner, because before that, the immediate thing that I notice is that the midtones feel a little bit muddy, and that's because of that's because of lifting the shadows but not adjusting the midtones accordingly. And it almost looks like you have a reverse vignette here where the edges are really bright but the center's really dark. You know what I mean? So putting the levels in there definitely helps a little bit. And I think that might be because you mentioned masking that out. So I would just be careful to make sure that if you're going to do that, not to make, just make sure that you do maybe a reverse vignette so that you darken the edges a little bit to kind of match in so that it's not backwards. Because when you're thinking about an image, your eyes go to the brightest spot, and right now the center of the image is actually not the brightest spot, it's the edges of your frame. That's
good.
So you want to make sure that, like, I'll even do that. Let me do a reverse vignette on this real quick. So I'm going to just do a curves, and then I'm gonna mask that out. And I never retouch with a mouse, and my Wacom tablet is put away, so nobody judge what's about to happen here. I'm just gonna do this real quick on a curves layer, and then I'm just gonna drop the opacity a little bit, and so like that just evens it out just a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Before
so
and
effortless
after.
too.
So your color is really nice, and you had the same instinct I did. I was like, I don't want to push the color grading too hard on this because I've already styled the colors in a certain way to go together. So I just want the color grading to like put the finishing touch on that. So I really do like what you did with your edit. I think that just maybe be a little bit more careful with the way that you're masking things and make sure that you're not muddying up your midtones. So make sure you have a black point there. And if you need to lift the midtones to open up the image and give it a little bit more air and breath, you can do that.
Yeah. Sick. I love it. This is cool. And we're definitely gonna have to do this more with moving on in the future of these segments to be able to have, if the guest was comfortable to bring on the images in Photoshop like you are. It's really great. So one thing I didn't talk about, or I guess bring attention to, but when I started editing, and it wasn't just with you, but I think the last one, when Scooter was on, but I'm trying to, especially like with these segments, I'm trying to like stay away from preset. Like I don't mind jumping into presets for my wedding shots and my wedding work and stuff to be able to speed up that process, but I want to get better at color grading on my own. And with Lightroom's update with the color wheels, something that I was comfortable with in Capture One, or not comfortable but familiar with, still learning, but Lightroom implementing the color wheels, I want to get better at doing that on my own versus just relying on the preset. So I appreciate that. I'm really trying to put some effort into that. But with your images, it's kind of cheating because they came out so great already. So I didn't have to really like do too much on the tones. I didn't want to change the colors, skin tone.
But that's not cheating, and that leads to a very good point, which is a lot of color grading starts in the photograph. You know what I mean? I wrote a really long, convoluted article about this a few years ago about color grading, and it starts with planning. It starts with the wardrobe, and it starts with the set that you're on. You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted like I don't know, if I took this photo and then was like, I'm going to make it feel really 90s with my color grading, that's not going to happen because there's no 90s-esque colors to begin with in here. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about what you want before you even pick up your camera. So you have to plan your wardrobe, you have to plan your location, you have to plan the colors that are going to be on the set, and then from there you use your color grading to complement what's already in the frame. You know what I mean? So the fact that you didn't have to do much, I'm going to go ahead and pat myself on the back there, because that means that I planned the shot well in the camera. You know what I mean? If you're finding that you're trying to, your color grading needs to be related to what you're shooting. You know what I mean? You can't just be like thinking about them two separate things. It's all one process. It's all one workflow, and it's all one cohesive work of art, you know?
Yeah. I can't add something that isn't there. And not saying that doesn't apply to all in every situation, but but it really does apply to the work that you do. Like, if we translate that into wedding work and stuff, weddings, you kind of get what's there. I mean, you can plan, you can plan. And for me, when I interview my couples and stuff closer to the wedding date, you know, I ask them what their florals are. I ask them what the color themes are for the wedding and stuff. So I can just like get that in my mind as I'm shooting. And then when I edit in post process, I try and play to those strengths of like what they like, you know, like the theme of their wedding and stuff like that. But for engagements now, and this is big for me, because I do want to up my game with my portraits, and engagements I can have more control over, because weddings, the bride's planning that with the wedding planner, but engagements, they're really planning that with me. And so that's something I can take up to the next level, being involved with their wardrobes and all that stuff. For the most part, my couples have been good. There's a couple times, you know, because we're out here in the wild, you know, like we're taking shots by waterfalls. And so when a groom, or when the guy shows up in a freaking button up shirt, I'm like, dude, really? like maybe like an open neck with like a short sleeve button up is okay. But like, you know, I had someone show up in like a long sleeve button up, and I'm like, khaki shorts, and like we're standing next to this beautiful tropical waterfall. The girl was set, she had her hibiscus flower in, all that. But I think for me, that's something I'm determined to do, and I want to take to the next level and stuff. So anyways, any any final thoughts on this one?
No, I think I said everything that I wanted to say.
Awesome. And real quick too, would you be open to sharing any of these images in our Raw Exchange channel if people want to try their hand at these? One, or does it have to be all of them, but maybe like one or something? I don't know.
Possibly. The reason that I don't do that is because I don't allow people to post these. You're a special circumstance, but I don't allow people to edit these on stream or post them to their own portfolios and things like that, because I've already published them. Do you know what I mean? You're a different circumstance, so that's the only reason I've never dropped them into the Raw Exchange, because I don't trust people to respect that. But if you think that your people would be respectful of that, then I could probably give you one.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if you use WeTransfer, but that has like an automatic expiration. So if you drop the link for like at least one of them, then you'll know like after a certain amount of days, it's no longer live. But that's not the problem. I don't mind people practicing on the files. It's just a matter of like, I wouldn't want them anywhere on the internet. You know what I mean? Like they would strictly be for practice, and like they could go into your Discord for feedback and things, but I wouldn't want them to be on somebody's Instagram and be like, look at this file I practice on. And do you do that in your Discord?
It's for the same reason that I don't allow my clients to edit their own images like after I've sent them. Like if I see somebody edit an image with an Instagram filter, they get a message from me and be like, hey, it's in the contract. You know what I mean? Because it reflects on my work.
Okay. do you do that in your Discord? The Pixel Palace, I believe.
The Raw Exchange?
Yeah.
No, I don't give anybody my files. Yeah.
Okay. Well, any amount or none at all, it's all good. All good.
Okay.
But, yeah, no worries.
I know that sounds like really stingy of me, but I'm very precious about, you know, my images and my brand and stuff. And like I said, I don't mind you doing this because I'm like, you know, we're doing this for a specific educational purpose. Like we're teaching people my method versus your method and stuff like that. And I know you're not going to like post these on Instagram and be like, look what I did. But it's harder for me to control that when I just put a link out there and anybody that I don't know can grab it, you know?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Totally understand that. Respectable and definitely not stingy at all. So, okay. Here we go. Here's the third image. Now this one, I was like, all right, here we go. Now this is the time. If I was gonna do anything with the skin and stuff like that, you know, this is the one. So, so same model, same place. But yeah, tell us more about this image.
Yeah, so this one was a challenge in and of itself because I underexposed it by accident. So because I was using natural light, you know, that changes from time to time, and I switched a lens to this was the 85, I believe. So I switched to the 85, which tends to cut some light. You have to adjust for that. And then also I think I lost some natural light as well. I hadn't caught it yet. And so I really loved this image, but it definitely is underexposed. So this was a fun challenge trying to get everything where I wanted it to be balance wise. But yeah, it's from the same set as the full body that you saw. So it's just a headshot from that one. All
right, let me bring up your edit here. Here we go.
Yeah, Alex said, I don't let anyone use my negatives. And this is kind of the same idea. So Alex gets me. Awesome. Yeah, so that's my edit. So I definitely obviously adjusted the exposure. This was actually really tough for me because the first round I didn't like it and I didn't know why, and I put it in Pratik's group for critique. Yeah. And I forget what it is. What was it that finally I went, oh, I know what it is that's bothering me. I think it was similar to the issue you were having in the other one. I think that my midtones were a little too muddied and I didn't have enough in my highlights, and that's what was driving me crazy. It felt flat to me at first and I couldn't figure out why until I went in the next day and it was like, oh, okay, I see what it is. And so I went in and made another adjustment to bring some more light to the highlights and clean up the midtones a little bit. But yeah, this is the same color grading as the other one. Once I get the color grading for one set down, I don't know if you saw in my other file where I have retouching in one folder and then all the layers for retouching in it. And then I have another folder that I call FX. I don't know why I started calling it FX instead of color grading, but that's what I call it. So that folder, once I've established color grading for a set of images, I just copy and paste that folder over. And then if I need to tweak it, I make tiny little adjustments, but for the most part, it's just a copy paste once I get that over. So it's exactly the same color grading as the first one. Just the retouching was a little bit different.
Yeah, just stunning. Good stuff. I did notice too that they very similar to this. So that's what you're talking about too, like same location, same setup, but like same look.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the same exact set, so the color grading is all going to be the same for sure.
All right. So let me run you through the edit that I did, and I really can't wait to hear what you think about what I did. So, okay. So the first thing I did is I did crop it in. I don't know. I guess I wanted it a bit more tight on the right side, but I could be off on that. But anyways, so what I did was I just used an adjustment brush on like negative, not 100 on texture, but like maybe like negative 70. A texture slider is what a new thing in Lightroom that they added as well. So it kind of does help with the hey Scott, have a good one, have a good day. Thank you so much for being here and all your questions, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, hey,
thanks Scott for the follow. Appreciate it.
It'll help, like editing weddings and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't really take these into Photoshop and stuff, but on the fly, on the run, if I need to smooth some things out, then yeah. But really my first experience using it. So I did that. I did remove a couple little marks and things here on the shoulder. I didn't want to remove too much because I kind of remember some things people would say about leaving natural marks, some beauty marks and stuff. So I didn't want to do too much on that. And but yeah, you know, the hair and stuff still there, blah blah. I didn't touch that because I don't know, it would have been a spot healing. All that would have been taking a lot of effort. So I was like, all right, frick it, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of about it. Try to really like brighten it up and all that. So what do you think?
So in keeping in theme with your other ones, I think that you need a little more contrast. Okay. Your color is good, just like the last one. You did a good job of keeping everything cohesive and natural. But if I reset everything here, you've got nothing not even a small, like in your other one you had a little bit of in the shadows, but not a lot. This one literally has nothing in the black point. And so if I pull this over, now we've got blacks in the image. And then if I pull my high point over, now we've got a little more contrast there. And then again, to keep the midtones from getting muddy, we can open that up just a little bit. So you needed a little more contrast in here as far as that is concerned. Again, your colors are totally fine. They're great. But you just need some contrast. And then doing that, of course, makes things saturated. So I can make this luminosity blending mode so it's not affecting the color and just giving me some contrast there. And again, like your style might just be like super lifted blacks. And maybe I'm just stepping all over your style by telling you need a little more contrast, but I think that will help it pop a little bit. Your retouching, you did this all in Lightroom, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I love you, Aaron, but I can absolutely tell. I was like, he either did this in Lightroom or he used a filter of some sort, like Portrait Pro or something.
Yeah.
I would almost rather see you not touch the skin than do that. Wow. And I mean that in the most loving way. Retouching and Lightroom are not words that go together. You know what I mean? Lightroom is great for overall global edits and things like that. But to me, this looks, as far as the retouching is concerned, it looks like when everybody first learns what frequency separation is, and then they just blur things instead of actually using it properly and in the correct workflow. Or it looks, again, like I thought maybe you used the clarity slider. I don't know if the texture slider and the clarity slider are one and the same. Lightroom for anything like cataloging anymore, but you lose some of the texture, and skin is kind of a layered thing. So you have, like, you think of it, the real skin is layered. You have a couple layers to real skin. So the very, very, very top part of your skin is where like all the bumpy texture lives. But then the layer underneath that is what I like to call color texture. So all texture has like a little bit of a color tone to it. Yeah. And when you do it the way that you did, you kind of delete that second layer of skin, and then leaving that top layer of skin untouched kind of creates this like cognitive dissonance of the top layer of skin floating miles above the rest of it, which is unnatural to the human eye. So like I said, I think I would have rather see you not touch the skin at all and process the image the way you would process it than to use the texture slider on it. If you want, I can show you what my file looks like in terms of the skin.
Yeah, we're here for it. Let's go.
Here. So here we go on my, let me see here. So this is just my retouching here. So if we go in really close, hello. There we go. You can kind of see all of this texture here that's on, especially her camera right cheek. You still have, I still have this texture here, whereas on this one, coming closer, it's kind of like gone. You know what I mean? And on the chin, you're losing all of that texture there with that brush, whereas here, hand retouching it, I still have all the texture all over the skin. And so to do that, it's oh my gosh, it's a painstaking process. I love it, but most people don't. It's just dodge and burn. So if I come in here, actually, I can leave the color grading on without messing it up. But so it's just dodge and burn. So if I go before, actually, let me just do this, and after, you can see what's happening there. And this is what my masks look like. So I went and I said, this is just the dodge, and then we can look at the burn layer. and that's the burn mask. So I go through by hand and dodge and burn all of that out. Nothing gets blurred. It's all dodged and burned. And then I didn't even do frequency separation on this. I only do frequency separation if I absolutely have to. So the whole thing is dodge and burn. I adjust the eyes. I took care of some of the shine on her skin. I did more dodge and burn to kind of sculpt the light on her face a little bit. And then I did, let me see here. I did a masked curves layer to bring some shine to her hair. I did more dodge and burn, because this is the point where I was like, what is bothering me? Something about her face is flat. And then I realized what it was. So I did some more dodge and burn.
Wow.
Unified the skin, more dodge and burn.
Wow.
As it kept working through, and then the color grading. So you just have to be really careful not to blur the skin if you want it to look realistic, which is what the tool that you were using essentially does, is it just blurs it, you know?
So freaking good. And for people like me who honestly don't know what dodge and burn is, can you educate us?
Yeah, absolutely. So dodge and burn, Alex could probably speak to this a little bit too, but that actually is a term that comes from back in the film days when, yes, people retouched film. And so dodging is essentially making areas lighter, and burning is making areas darker. And so when you are dodging and burning, if we look back at my image here, if I turn that off and on, all I'm doing, actually, let me go a little closer here. Let me go to my original dodge and burn folder, because that's where most of the work is. If I turn this layer off and on, you can kind of see the shadows that kind of are on her face just from the uneven skin tones. So I'm darkening all of these darker, I don't want to say splotches, that sounds like such a mean word, but like these darker inconsistencies. And then any areas like this that are kind of in her cheek, that are a little bit lighter than the areas around, darkening them down. And so the goal is not to get rid of shadows and highlights on the face, but to make the transition from one to the other smoother. So instead of the transition from shadow being from here and then a step up to the highlight, I'm just doing this so that they're like a nice smooth transition, if that makes sense.
Very clear way to put it. And that just like blew my mind.
Yep. Yep. So no blurring of the skin. You're just making things nice and, you know, gradiated into one or the other. So
thank you for taking the time to explain that, because, you know, I feel like something very basic to people who work in Photoshop, but like for me, like I just never touched it. And very interesting, when I was editing this in the adjustments brush, there is an option for dodging and burning. And I was like, I wasn't going to touch it when I was editing my photo in Lightroom, but I'm definitely going to look into it. Maybe just look up some YouTube videos of people using it. But I am definitely going to look up some resources that you dropped today, and we'll look into doing that. And I want to experiment on some of my bridal portraits at least, because even though I won't probably do that, you know, for all the 1,000 of images, you know, that I shoot at weddings, the bridal portraits, you know, they're around like 150 to 200 images, you know, for the clients. And so that's much easier to go through and really select some, maybe like 10 winners that like really, you know, I could do this process on and, you know, get them printed and stuff and take that to the next level. So good stuff. I love it. This is probably my favorite part of our time to be able to go through that and, you know, like teach me and just really go through it. So
yeah, for sure.
Sick. Any last thoughts about this one, or we can go on to the last? Okay,
I think we're good.
I love it.
I don't know that we actually showed mine other than like showing you my layers. Did we do a side by side of this one? There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Very big dramatic difference. And now that you pointed it out, I can really still see those light areas, dark areas where it's still uneven. Even though I just blurred it, it didn't address the need for dodging and burning and stuff like that. So now that I see that, it's like, I can begin to understand what maybe your initial thoughts were like, what the heck? Okay.
This is why I love doing stuff like this though, because sometimes like we're all artists, we're all very visual. So you need to be able to see things, like I do the same thing with my intern. Is I'll give her assignment and then I won't help her, I'll just make her go do it, and I'll come back and be like, okay, good effort, but no, and let me show you why. And then once I go through and I show her, she like you did, she's, oh, I see that now. And so this is part of training your eye and learning to see things better so that you can continue to improve in your retouching and your photography. So I really love doing stuff like this. Like that was not meant to make you feel bad at all. I hope that I didn't come out harsh, but like now you're aware of that. Now you see that. That means you're gonna, from this point forward, you're gonna start looking at your images a little bit differently and you might start approaching your editing a little bit differently. And it's all part of like the improvement and growing process. And I love it.
So freaking good. So good. I love it. And probably not just me, but maybe some other people too in the chat. You know, I see Gamna saying it's a bit scary. Jimmy saying I'm scared to death. Like I know Jimmy's landscape photographer, animal photographer and stuff. So these guys, but man, this is so cool to be able to like, I guess like what you say, like cross realms where like, you know, outside of Twitch or something, you know, like what are the chances of me reaching out to you on Instagram, say, hey, you know, how can I learn this? You know, like really you couldn't. And like Twitch being able to make this happen, bring this together. Super grateful for it. Love it. I'm an old man. It's like touching a touchscreen for the first time. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Let's go with the last one. Here we go.
Cool.
Tell us about this image.
Yeah, so this is a different model. Her name is Lauren. She yeah, I don't know. She's a model. She's a good friend of mine, model. Same thing. This is in that same room as what Gracie was in. I shot in here a lot because my best friend is very indecisive, and he said that he was going to keep that wall, and the way that he said it was like, no, he's not. And so I went and shot in there as many times as I could before he renovated, because I was right. He got rid of it. So I set up I wanted more of an exposed set look here. So a lot of her images, you can see the edge of the backdrop and the C-stands and things like that. This wall here is that same window, or is that same wall with all the windows on it. There's also the other wall. There's one window on that. So I'm letting a lot of window light in on this image. Yep. Again, I have the Ellen Chrome set up to be the key light kind of on the side. So almost, not the exact same, but a very, very similar lighting setup as to what I had for Gracie. And that all that beautiful backlight is the windows. There is a big, I forgot on this one, there is a big 6 by 6 foot scrim in front of that window because the light coming in was very, very direct and hard. And so it's diffusing all of that light and just giving her that like really pretty halo from the window there. Very pretty halo for sure. For sure. Well, this one you chose to go black and white. I did. And why? Well, when I went to go do this set, this entire set in this for her is in black and white. There was just I don't know, just the way that I had planned out the shoot. I felt that I wanted to be like super moody and editorial with it, and I just thought black and white fit that aesthetic really well. I cannot believe I just used the word aesthetic. I kind of hate myself a little bit now. But yeah, I just think that was where my mind was with this set in particular. And I had a reference image for a different photo that inspired the whole setup that was in black and white. So I think that's just kind of where my head started with it all. Yeah. And her outfit is all black. So I think I really just wanted to be able to pull the image together in a way that was nice and cohesive. And I think it was more about the textures and the mood than it was about the colors for this one, for me. Awesome. I'm going to pull up the edit that I did, run you through, and then we'll get your thoughts. So we got that was a really hard question, Aaron. I've never had somebody be like, why is this black and white? And be like, oh shoot, why is it black and white? In the past, you know, when I've encountered real like complex images with like colors and stuff like that, I wouldn't say it's like cheating. I don't want to disrespect the black and white process, but it was just almost easier to always just kind of throw things into black and white for me. Like when I was editing, I don't know what to do, and
sometimes I would stumble upon like, oh yeah, good choice, and then the other time it was just like, you know, you just did because
when colors don't match, black and white is the way. But this one for sure wasn't intentional. Like I intentionally went into, before I picked up the camera, knew these were going to be black and white. So
yeah,
this was that was an artistic decision, not a artistic cover.
Love it. All right, here we go. So this one I did a little, I got a little extra with on this one, I have to say. I brought up the fade a bit more on this one, and I added some grain, as you can see, and I did adjustment brush in her face and arms and things, and now that I'm looking at it, I kind of wish that I didn't, and I wish I was just stuck with like leaving this, you know, not really touching, you know, brightening up this and leaving the stuff. But here at the end of all the images, I really see, like, I don't know, the shadows lifted, you know, there's not a lot of contrast to this, and maybe I did try and go for that faded look where everything was kind of brought up. But yeah, I just thought her hair was gorgeous. I tried to do my best to not tint it too much because her skin, you know, could go real magenta like, and I don't know if I did head over to that side, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was gonna say, you know what I'm gonna say about the shadows. So yeah, I agree with you that the blacks are missing. However, I don't disagree with your decision to brighten her face and her arms, because I did the same thing in mine. I think you did. That was a really great call. I think your edit is beautiful. Okay. I have just zero complaints about your edit whatsoever in terms of lightening the areas that you did. I just have a complaint about the shadows being gone. So, so if I do my levels again,
let's go.
I'll wait for you guys to switch this time, because I think I ran ahead of.
No worries.
Cool. So if I grab this black point right here and pull this up, there is all of that. And I don't even have to bring it to the very, very edge of the histogram here. Like if you just bring it up a little bit, you can still have like a hint of that faded look, but you have way more contrast, right? And then same thing with the high points. I'm going to bring that in just a little bit to give a little bit more of a pop. And I might take the midpoint just a little bit up, so you still have that kind of like airy faded type feel, but it's not it's not flat. There is contrast. Doing that, there is a lot of saturation, and she's very red, so what I can do then is go into bring up a curves layer, go into the red channel and pull down the red a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got a really beautiful color grade on your image. So you are not far off at all. You just needed a little bit more contrast and to pump out some reds on the images a little bit. Maybe it is a little magenta. Let me see. Like in certain areas, this is where I would start grabbing, I would start building a specific curve, because her arms are a little magenta, but the rest of it gets too green if you pull it up too much. So then maybe we do something like that, where we just lift the greens a little bit in the highlights, but not the shadows. And so we go from here to here with just those two little adjustments. But your again, your edit's beautiful. I think you did a really great job deciding to lift where you did. I think, again, overall, despite the fact that there's no contrast here, your edit is nice and even and really pretty. And I do love these images in color. There was a certain point where I was editing one of them. It might have even been this one, where it's like, oh man, do I leave it in color? And it's like, no, I said the whole set's gonna be black and white, so I'm gonna stick with that. But I am a sucker for color, so I very much struggle when I know a set's gonna be black and white, going through and being like, oh, but I love it in color. And I was like, nope, I made a decision. I'm going to stick with it. So I think, Aaron, you're being a little bit harder on yourself on this one because of all the earlier critiques. But I think that you nailed this one. You just need more contrast, and adding more contrast would show that it's a little too red, which I think that you are smart enough to have seen that had you added more contrast, and you probably would have backed that off. I have faith in you. So, so I think that you were very, very, very close on this one.
Appreciate it. Let me just throw all three of them. Oh no! Can you hear me still, Emily?
Yep, I'm here. Wait, what happened?
My computer froze for some reason. It freezes.
Oh no! Yeah, the stream is doing a circle thing. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. It'll take a minute. Before, I used to like freak out and just like turn everything off, but I've learned it just does this. It's so weird. I hate it. There we go.
Wait. What?
We back.
Yep. Then now we're back. Okay. Cool.
So weird. Okay. Jimmy says, sorry, Aaron, I love the black and white. I feel that sometimes it's hard to decide which between color and black and white. Yeah,
it can be very difficult.
But it's exciting too, because I like, you know, to challenge myself and, you know, to like, okay, this set will be in black and white. You know, like for weddings, it's weird. I don't know how my clients feel, but when I deliver them, because when I edit, I don't balance out how many photos I do in black and white. I'll just be editing and be like, holy crap, this is a beautiful moment, black and white. And then like, I won't do one for the groom. There's a black and white. And I'll put it in the email like, hey, I threw some black and whites in there. If there's any that you like, that you want me to change black and white, I'll do that. No one's really been bridezilla or super picky. I know it's kind of giving maybe a lot of control to my clients, but yeah, I've yet to do like a strictly only black and white. I might do that. Actually, Alex, I ordered some SX70 film for the Polaroid instant camera, and I got the 3-pack that comes with the black and white. So one thing I'm going to do, Emily, with my weddings going forward is I'm going to shoot each film pack is like 8 for the SX70. So during the wedding day, I'll shoot 8 instants for them.
Nice.
And give it to them at the end of the night. So I got a black and white. So I might keep that for myself and use that for my family. But anyways,
that's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's awesome. That's all I had to say about that.
So here's all of the images, guys, all together. Emily's here on the left. There's hers and then hers. Overall, how'd you feel? There was a theme that was going through.
I gave you some hard images to work with. The theme was that you need to make sure you still have black points in your images, even if they're lifted blacks. There's there's a subtle way to lift your blacks and still have contrast in the image. So overall, just make sure you're working on that contrast. But I think you did a really nice job with your color grading. Again, you just need to work on that contrast, and don't ever use the texture brush on skin ever again, Aaron, or I will come find you.
Yes.
But I think for real, like I gave you some tough stuff to work with, and I think that you did a beautiful job executing it. And I want to commend you on your ability to take critique and constantly putting yourself out there and bringing people onto your stream to tell you what they think you did right and what you did wrong. And that takes you're a really sweet dude, but you've got a tough exterior, and I appreciate that about you. You want to learn and grow, and I really love that.
I really, really appreciate that. Hold on a sec. Someone's cutting onions in here. No, just kidding. I really, really appreciate that. And I would be lying to say, you know, sometimes there are people that come on and they're softies like me, you know, and they'll pull their punches, and you know, that's all good. But like you and like someone like Scott really scorched earth. But I love it. I appreciate it because, you know, like when it comes to Twitch, like especially when it comes to Twitch, you know, like the last thing I want to do is put forth some kind of like image that like, you know, I'm this amazing, great photographer or whatever, because, you know, like that's what it is with Twitch. It's a huge like popularity kind of thing. And I don't have a huge following at all. You know, like I just some wedding photographer from Hawaii, and what I would rather do is to have conversations like this and just be real, you know, and it was hard for me to listen to the critiques on the retouching and stuff, but I can't get mad at you, you know, like I can only do what I can, you know, and now that you've shown me, if I continue in it, then it's like, okay, Aaron's an idiot for not listening and changing. But
yeah, but that's the thing is like we all start somewhere. I was not a good retoucher, Aaron. If I pull up some of my old retouching, oh my God, the skin looks so bad. But like we all learn, like you got to keep in mind, I've been like doing this forever, and I have spent way more time in Photoshop than most sane people would, and that's just because I'm one of the weird ones that actually enjoys retouching. Not all photographers enjoy retouching, and that's why retouchers exist, because it gets outsourced to them. So I want to encourage you to keep learning and keep growing, and I know that you will, because I know you as a person, and I know that you are constantly striving to be better, whether it's with your business or whether it's with your images or whether it's to grow your Twitch streams. So like you know me, like I don't pull punches. Like if you ask me to critique, I'm going to critique. So I know that's why you were a little bit nervous. So I hope that I was being constructive and not just, I hope you don't feel like just beat into the ground, because you did do some really nice work. But there's like anything, there's areas you can improve on. And that photo that I showed you of Gracie that I said that I was kind of stuck on, like I got critique back from it that, and when I'm posting for critique, I'm not looking for, oh my God, that's so good. Like I want you to tell me what's wrong. And so I did have some people be like, hey, look at this. I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even see that. Thank you for pointing that out. And I went back and fixed it. I even got a second round of critique with my mentor group, because I started a new show there called Real Talk with Emily. So to introduce the students to it, we did a roundtable critique with all the mentors, and one of the mentors pointed out something that none of the high-end retouchers that critiqued it the first time around pointed out. And I was like, holy crap, I can't believe no one saw that and no one told me. You're right, let me go back and fix it. So it's all about growing and learning, and as long as you are aware that the critique isn't to bring you down and hurt your feelings, but is to improve you and help you maybe see things you didn't see before, like the dodge and burning, for example. It's a great thing, and that's what's going to help stretch you. So it's not always easy to hear critique. There have been plenty of times where I've been in a critique circle and somebody have said something and I wanted to make excuses and fight back, and I had to swallow my pride and go, okay, thank you, and that's it. But that's what at the end of the day, that's why I'm better, because I'm constantly putting myself out there and then getting my toilet paper ready for if I have to poop myself based on something someone said. So
TP on standby.
But I think, again, Aaron, like I'm really proud of you. Like, I don't know, I genuinely mean that. Like, I'm really proud of you for the strides that you've made since I first met you, both in your photography and in your stream. And if anybody on this platform is going to make it doing the thing that they do, I definitely have a lot of faith that you're going to be one of them. So, and this goes for anybody, but you especially, Aaron, like if you're practicing and learning, like, please feel free to reach out to me and ask me. I'm happy to teach you and help you improve, because I just want everybody to win, I want us to be the best at what we do. So, feel free to reach out. Like, please forgive me if it takes me a few days if I'm busy, but I'm always happy to help, answer questions and things. So
good. And I'm just going to keep putting your links and stuff in the chat, because, you guys go drop a follow on her channel and you follow her Instagram, all that stuff. And I will definitely hit you up on that, especially if I have questions and stuff. And we'll see, because I mean, this whole streaming thing Monday through Friday is a lot. And like, there's some days, like right now, I'm kind of in a lull. I don't have a lot of work lined up yet, but next week it's gonna kick off. I've got some work coming in, but definitely we'll have.
Alex is yelling. Why are you yelling at me, Alex? He's Emily. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll definitely have some segments too. Like, I would love to have people come on, like, like Scott or you, and you want to teach and teach something and make it real interactive, and
for sure,
and good stuff. So
games is photo. Gamins is photo. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering your name really bad. Yes, I do this as full time. I'm a full-time portrait photographer and retoucher. So yes, I do this as a full-time job.
Oh man, love it. Any other questions real quick for Emily while we have her, while she's here? Any other questions and stuff like that?
Oh Oh, Alex thinks I'm a positive force in the community. That's really sweet because everybody else thinks I just yell at them all the time.
You know, I remember when you first came back to Twitch, and I think I was in Hue stream, and all of a sudden this Erose person came in and just dominated the chat, and I'm like, whoa, who's this girl? She's like, she must have had multiple cups of coffee, and it's confirmed you are a coffee connoisseur. But you know, once we started to get to know you, and you kind of made the rounds in different streams and stuff, it was so great to meet you. And I would be lying if I didn't say, or if I said I wasn't intimidated. But you know, you're a powerful woman. You got powerful business. Your work is powerful. Like, it's not just retouching, guys. Like, if you guys see her like self-portrait stuff, or like the challenges and jousts she's done, like there was one that I was watching where you were like in a bathtub in the water or something.
Yeah, that was so bad. So that was an example of retouching or of critique that I got. That was like really bad. I attempted to do a composite, and it involved me being in the bathtub I was in my bra and then like a skirt, like a tulle skirt, and then I tried to composite me into like a body of water. And one of my really good friends on Twitch is a composite photographer, and she like ripped me apart in a nice way. But she was like,
I was looking for that.
Yeah, she's like, I'm glad that you tried something new, but this ain't it. So yeah, it was great. We're all still learning stuff, you know, myself included. Hi, Enda.
And your jacket. You still play Overwatch?
Yes. Oh yeah. I haven't in a little while, just because. Okay, first of all, before I keep talking, does anybody see my cat down here being a real creeper?
Oh yeah,
see her? She's the one that sent me to the ER. That little gremlin down there.
She's your emo.
But anyway, yeah, I still play Overwatch. I haven't played in a few weeks because I've been really into my Zelda games right now, and nothing new really has happened on Overwatch. But like, it's my jam. Like, I've got it tattooed, and I've got way more paraphernalia than a normal human should have. So I'm just patiently waiting for Overwatch 2 to drop. You know?
Yeah, I think everyone is. I mean, shoot, man. I think I read something that was funny. Someone's like, they're just giving us what, like, was it 3 years worth of updates should have been or something?
Yeah.
Like, man, I feel that. Little Brit says he wants to teach you Rocket League. Do you ever play Rocket League?
No, I am not. I don't like Rocket League. If you do, more power to you. But I'm not a Rocket League fan.
What about Fortnite?
Nope.
Don't
ask me questions about Fortnite. I won't be nice about it. Look at her just being a little creeper
Overwatch.
down there. You see her?
That's funny. She's like,
what are you doing? Are you plotting to bite me again? Just kidding. She didn't bite me out for no reason. She was scared, and I put her in a compromising position, so I don't blame her for biting me. I would have bit me too.
See you later, Jimmy. But your character that you always play is Tracer, right? That's your go-to. That's your jam.
My main is Diva, but I play a ton of characters, including Tracer. I don't ever stick to one. I'm not a one trick. I play a bunch, but Diva's my girl.
Nice. Wait, what? Jimmy's leaving? You're not leaving? Okay. Anyways, Emily, thank you so much for being here. So good to have you on.
This is fun.
Like, I mean, not like I was like, oh, when is Emily gonna come on? But just, you know, like it's like midnight. I would love to have Hue and Midnight on, but I know you know they're all busy with their schedules and stuff, and you know I would love to have them on when they want. So when you redeemed it, I was like, wow, frick yeah, dude.
Well, I'll be completely honest with you, Aaron. I was like, when is Aaron going to invite me to his stream? Like, we've been friends for so long. I'm like, here, and he's never invited. Like, does he secretly hate me? And then I realized that everybody was on your stream because they were redeeming these points. And I went, oh, well, let me just click.
I should make it very clear like that too, because you know all of you guys Hue Midnight, like, yeah, I mean, it's so weird how we can kind of get on our own stories because how ambiguous like texting and Twitch can be and stuff.
Yeah.
But straight up, I'll have anyone freaking on as long as they redeem the 3,500 points. We had someone on that sent me like photos that were taken from their phone, you know, and they don't even do photography. So, you know, but thank you for saying that because I definitely want to message some of the OGs. Just to clarify, want to let you guys know I would. you know, it's just, you know, up to you, you know. But
yeah, no, I legit, I felt like such a dummy. I was like, does Aaron like pretend to like me, but he doesn't? And like, and then when I realized what the deal was, I was like, oh, I'm the dummy. Okay. And then Brock, to answer your question, I have no idea. I'm supposed to stream on Fridays. That's what my schedule says, but that is not what I stick to because it really just depends on how I feel that Friday. If I have a shoot, what's going on. So the best thing to do if you want to catch a stream is to either have your notifications turned on Twitch, or you can join. Can I say this? You can join my Discord because I announce in there, or follow me on my. I have 2 different Twitter accounts. The Erose86 Twitter account is the one where I announce when I'm going live. So those are the ways to find out if I'm going live.
There you go.
For sure on that Friday.
Gotta go follow on those things, and you know, I totally talk up your stuff, Discord, all that good stuff, and get in touch with her. I think that's about it. So I'm gonna just throw you on the big screen, Emily, and you can say your goodbyes to everybody. Okay. All right, chat, give some mad love to Emily. So thank you very much for being here. Yeah,
for sure. Thanks for having me again. This was a lot of fun, and I hope I was able to teach you and other people some fun stuff. So can't wait to see how much better your retouching gets over the next year, Aaron.
Real quick, would you be down to come back and I send you some images, like some landscapes?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
all that good stuff. And then see what
maybe
you do.
Not this week, but for sure
in the future. Yeah, I've got people like from a while ago that I still haven't done it. So we'll figure out a time that's best for you, and then definitely get you back on here. But yeah,
cool,
awesome. Bye, Emily.
Alex says you taught me not to get bit by cats. Yeah, don't get bit by cats. You have to go to the ER. It's not fun. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. I'll see you later.
All right.